Waiting for the thing to say record. How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another Halloween edition on Geeking Out, where I basically discuss everything Nerd and Geek related. To end this, the October Geeking Out interviews, I'm joined here by Jordan Redmond, who you may know as the little angel who said "bless you" in the 1993 film Hocus Pocus.
Bless you.
How you doing, Jordan?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. Again, thank you for coming on to want to be the final featured guest for this, this theme for geeking out. So to begin, how long have you, or what made you want to get into acting? Like, how did you start this whole thing? Because I kind of remember you telling me in your mini interview during Comic-Con early this year.
So, how it started out was my mom got me into modeling. So, I was mostly a model. I did a lot of ads. I did probably about 300 ads. I started at, I want to say age 5, like Barbie, those kind of ads. And so she also wanted me to start acting. So obviously it was all my mom's doing.
So she's basically like
Um,
your agent at the time.
yeah, one of those kind of stage moms.
Uh,
And so I guess she thought I could act, which I couldn't. And I auditioned for a lot of big films that I didn't get the part. So Hocus Pocus was one of them, and I actually auditioned for the part of Emily Binks. So I remember that my dad got a fax from work of the script. So my mom's trying to read me the lines so I can learn them. And at age 6, I could not say Thackeray. That was like the hardest word. I couldn't even pronounce magazine. But I went in, I did the audition. The director was Kenny Ortega. I see him off to the side, and I'm speaking with the casting director who was named Barbara. And I'm just talking to them. I'm not even like, I don't even remember saying the lines to them. But the director, Kenny Ortega, was on the phone the whole time. He didn't even really look at me. Well, apparently, he really liked me, but knew I was not right for Emily Binks. And I think she might even be like a couple years older than me. And, my look, it didn't really, I didn't look like I was from 1600s. So they actually created that little part for me. And bless you was a lot easier. It was originally God bless you. So the first few takes I said God bless you. And then they just said, just say bless you. Um, so I remember, I believe it was just one day of filming, and I filmed my part in LA because I'm originally from Southern California, Orange County. But I was always in LA doing ads and all kinds of commercials. I'm in a few music videos. Um, but I remember the extras that were the other kids that were trick or treating around me. All their faces had to be covered because in the scene, the witches are confused. Like they smell children, but they don't see children because they're all, you know, in masks, except
Right.
me. Then I guess parents got wind of the fact that I had a line in the movie, a no mask. All of a sudden, none of the kids wanted anything to do with me.
They got upset because you got a speaking role, but they were just walking
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
Eh,
it's a parents thing, big time in the
I feel like
industry.
the parents should at least be happy that their kid got to be, you know, in the movie at least. Yeah, they may have had
Yeah,
to wear masks and didn't get a speaking role, but I mean, hell, if I was a kid and I got to like have a small part of the movie, I'd be ecstatic. I don't care if I was speaking or not. Like
yeah,
being in any movie, I think any extra, even if they don't have a speaking role, should be, be happy that, you're being part of this big movie You may have like one or two scenes, but but again, as a
We're
kid,
freezing.
oh,
Hold
oh, there we
We
go.
froze a bit.
Yeah, that it happens with this. But no,
Okay.
at least I'm glad. It sounds like you enjoyed it, and it seems like the parents. It's always the parents I've noticed when it comes to stuff like this. Like they get upset, and the kid's just happy to be there, like be a part of something.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the kids did get makeup done. And then they were told later, oh, you have to wear a mask. And the parents were just livid. And especially knowing that I had a line. And of course, I didn't know who anyone was. I didn't know that these were big stars. I even went to Michael Jackson's house for a photo shoot. I didn't know who he was. He wasn't there, so I didn't meet him, but I went to Neverland. I didn't know who Michael Jackson was.
But I mean, the fact that you got to do all this stuff as a kid, and I'm sure your mom was your biggest, supporter as well.
Yeah, sort of. That's a whole can of worms.
I believe it.
My life is a Dr. Phil show.
Oh man. What was it like meeting Bette Midler? Because I remember seeing a picture at con and on your Instagram that you got a picture with Bette Midler herself,
Yeah.
one of the leading characters. What was that like meeting such, someone like her with a big name like her back in the 90s?
So I didn't know who she was, but I knew she was someone important because she had so many security guards around her. And at one point, my mom wanted me to get a picture with her, but she was just too intimidated.
Oh, I
So she
mean,
made me ask. And what the funny thing is, my mom was what was known back in the day as a closet smoker. So she was a big time cigarette smoker, but she didn't tell anyone. It was a big secret. And I knew that. I knew never to tell anyone. So when I walked up to Bette, she had a cigarette in her hand, all free in public, and I scream out, "Mom, smokes!" My mom was just mortified, but I still got a cute picture.
yeah, I
And
remember it.
if you want me to show it, I can grab it.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. I'll show it once it comes to editing this.
Yeah, and I do have a portfolio. This
Oh, nice.
portfolio, I think it's about 30, maybe 29 years old.
Oh,
A
wow.
portfolio of a lot of the ads that I was in.
Yeah, I remember.
You know,
Sorry about that, everyone. Some minor technical difficulties. So, as you were saying, you also done some ads, commercials. I think
yeah.
one of the ads I saw you did like ad for, what was it, McDonald's or some kind of restaurant?
Yeah, it was like this weird McDonald's toy where you put bread into it and you like crank it and it cuts it into French fries and you're supposed to like sprinkle them with cinnamon. A total 90s toy. I might even have the picture.
So,
But
what was it like doing ads and everything back as a kid?
um I it kind of became second nature to me. Like I was always doing something. Like I would sometimes have two ads in one day, so I did get picked on a lot in school for it because girls would be jealous. And I would come out in catalogs or magazines in the mail, and my teachers would bring them into class and show them off. And I'm like, I'm totally mortified. Um, but I mean, it wasn't my choice. I will say that. Um, I if a kid wants to do it, I would support that 100%. I think the kid should want to do it.
Not the
I
parent.
I didn't.
And I've come to notice that a lot, especially back
Yeah.
then. It was more the parents that wanted to do it. And if any parents listening, don't force your kid into something like this if they don't want to do it. If they want to do it, that's great, but don't force your kids into acting or being in commercials or oh wow, that is definitely the
You
90s.
see it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
definitely
I was
McDonald's.
really good friends with the kid with me. I was really good friends with him. We did a lot of modeling together.
So this was way before so you did a lot of ads and commercials way before Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I did a lot. I was primarily a model And then for some reason, my mom got it in her mind that I should go into acting. So I auditioned for a lot of things that I never got. Um, I got really close to getting an interview with the vampire, very close. And finally, they deemed that I was too young because I used to have curls in my hair. Like I slept,
Like Kirsten Dunst did in the movie.
yeah, and my mom would make me sleep in these spongy
Ugh.
curlers. It was terrible, but they liked my look, but I was too young. I think she's a couple years older
I
than
think
me.
Kirsten Dunst was like 10 or 12 or something at the time when that
Yeah,
movie came out because
and I probably
it was before around the time of she was like before she was in Jumanji, I think.
yeah. I want to say it came out in 94, which would put me at like 8 years old.
I
Because
can't
I'm
remember.
born in 85, but I'm born on the last day of 85, so I'm practically 86. So it was all like 90s stuff I did. A
I
lot of
mean,
commercials. It
did
just was second nature.
did you enjoy any of it? Did you enjoy any of it at least?
I enjoyed the toy I got after, or the bribe, or the McDonald's Happy Meal. But I was also deprived of a lot of things as a kid. Like I couldn't have sugar. I couldn't go out and play because I was always athletic, but my mom was always so scared I'd get a bruise. Because at one time I used to work for the company that does Barbie, which is Mattel, and I had a little tiny scratch on my face that had happened from my baby sister, and they fired me and because they couldn't cover it, and my mom was like livid, my agent was livid. um
That's when you couldn't help with.
yeah, and I always wanted to go out and play and I couldn't.
You wanted to have a
I
childhood and you were deprived for
Yeah,
that for, if you don't mind me asking, if you want to answer, how long were you deprived of your childhood? Because you were always doing the ads or the commercials or trying to get into or trying to have a part in a big movie.
um my whole childhood. It's sad. I mean, this is probably the first time I'm being very open about it. Most of the time, when I talk to fans of Hocus Pocus, I just go, "Oh yeah," but it wasn't my
I
choice.
mean that's the whole
I
point.
I
That's the
have
whole point of
I
this
had
interview is to get to know the
Yeah,
actor behind, behind the camera, not what they did in front of the camera. It's to give a whole lot, like,
yeah,
backstory of like how they started and where they are now kind of thing, and if they're still, making appearances here and there.
yeah. Because most of the time I don't want to bum people out. So I just say, "Oh, it was great. I enjoyed it." And I did enjoy being on Hocus Pocus set. I got close to Kathy Najimy, who played Mary. I remember being in her trailer and she had this little dog and I got
No.
to play with it. She knew me by my first name. And I got to ride in the van over to the set with everyone. So Sarah Jessica Parker's behind me and she's like, "Hi, what are you dressed as?" I'm like, "I'm an angel." She goes, "I'm a witch." Like,
Oh.
yeah, and we did a lot of takes because I had to do the one where I come out and curtsy in front of them so you see the back of me,
Hmm.
and then I had to do it right in front of the camera. But when I originally was doing it, I would come out, do my curtsy, and then just stand off to the side by the fence and watch them. And the director would be like, "Jordan, you have to keep walking. You have to go away." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I remember that, and I remember going to the premiere at Disneyland, and I got to meet the girl who played Emily Bates, like very briefly, but I got to go to that to see the movie. Um, and also where I'm standing before I come out, I'm standing in front of Gary Marshall, who's like a Hollywood legend. I didn't know who he was. I was only excited when he would leave and his stand-in would be there because his stand-in was gorgeous. Like every time I was on set somewhere, I'd always have a crush on someone, and I would just follow them around. And it was very cold. I remember being really cold, and there's a fog machine, like with the decorations of the
Oh,
house
he's the
where I walk
guy.
out.
Wasn't he the guy who played as the devil in the
Yeah, he
movie?
played the
Oh,
devil. Yeah,
nice.
his stand-in though was hot, but he was very sweet. Gary Marshall was very nice, but again, I didn't know who he was,
I
but he
mean,
was like a Hollywood legend.
you didn't know who a good chunk of these people were until you were a lot older, and then
No,
like you realized
yeah,
you were in a movie with all these big names.
I think though it was better for me because I wasn't scared. I wasn't intimidated. I didn't act different. I was 6 going on 7 because we filmed in December. So it was really cold, but the little fog machine would keep me warm. And my birthday's in December, so I was just about to turn 7.
Jeez, they filmed the
Yeah.
movie they filmed the movie in December.
Yeah,
Oh, gee, that's
I
definitely
know.
got to be cold.
It came out in July of 93.
Really, I thought. Oh, alrighty then.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Think for
But
a Halloween movie, it would come out like late September or early October or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. And after that, like did the auditions, did the modeling, and I kind of grew out of it. I grew out of the business. Like my look wasn't needed anymore. I was hitting puberty, and my mom was pissed.
It happens, and it can't be helped that a lot of, especially back then, not as much as now, that a lot of childhood actors, studios think, oh, you're too old, we don't need,
Uh-huh.
and that that it does happen. And I guess, what kind of advice would you want to give to childhood actors who, like, when that time comes, like, what advice would you want to give them?
Make sure they want to do it and that they're willing to put in the work because you can be on set for hours. I was on a set for a music video for 16 hours, which is over the hours for the labor market for a child. And I never saw the music video for years until like YouTube came. And I saw it and I didn't even realize Ice Cube was in it because it was a rap music video. All you can see is my mom's car. I got cut out of the video. So I was there 16 hours only to be cut out.
No.
But
what was the name of the music video, if you can remember?
I remember the name of the person because it was like so and so featuring Mac 10, but I guess I was saying his name wrong for years. I kept saying WC in the mad circle. And then my husband's like, do you mean Dub C? I go, I don't know. I don't know because I don't care because I was cut out of it.
It's still, I mean, that sucks that, they just like just toss you aside, because it sounds like you were really getting to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I liked being on set with certain things. There are a couple other music videos that you can see on YouTube that I'm in, and those were fun. But the whole smiling forever, getting your picture taken and having to stay still. But I knew if I did good, I would get my toy at Toys R Us. Like
Oh,
that's how I was bribed
oh.
because I didn't get any money.
I mean,
My
if you,
mom got,
yeah, it's one of
hold
the
on,
like, it's one of those, again,
sorry, allergies.
oh, you're fine. It's one of those, oh, you'll get paid, but since you're not legal age, the parent will get the money kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard many stories of childhood actors, supposedly getting paid, but their parents get it and their parents just spin it on them and not.
Yeah. Um, I was told in my teenage years that I had a trust fund and I would get it when I turned 18.
You never saw it, did you?
Nothing. Nope. I don't even know how much I made from Hocus Pocus initially. So I don't anything.
Because sometimes extras can get paid quite a bit.
Well, and I'm technically an actor in it because I said a line and I had to have a Screen Actors Guild membership. in order to appear in it. So I got that, and I still get paid when the movie is shown like on TV or people rent it on like over the internet.
So like
And
residuals and everything.
I get residuals, which I just got a check the other day, and it was like $13.
Hey man,
But it can,
it's better than nothing.
yeah, it can go up to 130. It's very random, but I didn't see any of that until I was 18,
Oh
and
wow.
my mom couldn't cash them anymore. I don't have a relationship with my parents, and I'm so much happier.
I mean, it sounds like, and no, don't just disrespect to parents or anything when they're wanting to get their kid. It's just I feel like sometimes a parent is living their fantasy through their children. Like they couldn't do
Oh
that
yeah,
they couldn't do that as a kid. So there's like, well, I have this kid and I couldn't do it, so I'm gonna like
sorry.
I couldn't, so I'm gonna get them into it. Um, when was like your last like ad commercial or whatever before like the Hollywood was like, yeah, no, we don't need you anymore.
I think the picture would be in here because I look a little bit older. Oh, I'll show you something 90s.
Oh my God, that's a lot of purple.
Isn't that funny?
What is that ad for?
I'm rocking it out.
What is that supposed to be for, if you can remember?
I don't even think it says the company name. Well, no, it doesn't say. A lot of these companies don't even exist anymore.
Oh man, if they're from the 90s, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I thought I had one in here that I looked a little bit older, and that was probably my last gig because I was young. Like, whoops, sorry,
Nope.
tripod.
Oh yeah, they're oh my God, that is a creepy looking troll doll.
Uh huh. Just
Oh, that looks horrifying.
and I got to meet a lot of like famous people. I didn't know who they were. I never knew who anyone was except the Olsen twins.
Oh, you
I recognize I we had the same orthodontist, and they came in and I recognized them because they were from Full House.
oh wow.
Yeah.
You
So
gotta
I
meet
just like chatted.
you gotta meet a lot of people by the looks of
Yeah. One of the music videos I was on, I met Will Smith. I don't remember.
it.
Everybody tells me because a lot of friends that were in the music video with me, like their moms and my mom remember, but I know.
I mean, you
I
were
met Anthony Kiedis. I remember that. Like I was doing a commercial and he was on another set doing a commercial, and like he cut, he had the long hair. He kind of looked scuzzy back then. And my mom's kind of next to him, and people keep coming up asking for his autograph. And she's like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I sing in a band." And he said I was cute. He's like, "Oh, you have a really cute daughter."
Aw.
Yeah, so I remember that. They're different people.
Any fun ex aside from the Hocus Pocus experience, any other fun experiences you had while doing
The
this?
While doing being in the business,
Yeah.
uh, fun. Getting that Happy Meal. That's about it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it was getting to be too much, and I don't think my mom knew how to stop. She would sign contracts for me, so I would be obligated to like certain agents, and then I had to do all kinds of acting classes, and I hated it.
Ugh,
But
that just,
whatever. Do what you're told.
I mean, you're a kid. You have to at that point.
Yeah.
What was life like after all that was said and done with? Like, what did you do afterwards?
I never talk about that stuff again. I never watched Hocus Pocus. I only just started watching it the last 4 years because my husband loves to watch it every year. And I enjoy it and appreciate it now. But my most favorite thing and most proud of thing that I did was I trained in martial arts. I did Aikido for many years. I started when I was about 12 because I was always interested in it. And my dad was a cop and he knew a retired cop that taught it in our city. And I did it for many years. And I'm very proud of that.
You finally got to, you know, do what you always wanted to do and
Yeah.
not be like go to go for this commercial, go to this audition, go for this ad. Like you actually
Yeah.
got to, you may have waited, but at least you got to, finally before your teen years got to do what you finally got to do.
Yes. And that was really important to me. And like I cherish it. I've got pictures and I still know how to do it. So I feel like I can always protect myself.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Um, Now, not long ago, early this year, you actually got to be a featured guest at a Comic-Con for the role you
Yeah.
were in. What was that like?
I felt out of place. Like I didn't want people to think that I thought I was somebody. Like I just like if I had been just going to visit, I would have been more comfortable. When I saw the booth and like all the people, I'm like, this isn't for me. I'm a normal person. I live a normal life. Hold on, sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's just allergies, people, no COVID.
But did you at least
I've checked.
but did you at least enjoy yourself at the con?
I did. I enjoy talking to new people. I'm really good with talking. But I just felt
Plus you had your husband there with you too.
I did it. He was so happy and excited. He loved it. So it was a nice experience. And I ended up doing a panel last minute since one of the featured guests didn't come.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that. You got to
Yeah,
shout out to the Distance Nerding for doing a panel for hosting
they
a
were
panel with you.
cool. I liked it. They made me feel really comfortable. And I wasn't expecting to do that.
Now, your husband, how did he find out? Like, when did you tell him that you were this childhood actor and everything, and for ads and commercials and whatnot?
I did it. Someone else did. So we met through a mutual friend, and he's the one that told him. But I will tell you something interesting. His ex prior to me would watch Hocus Pocus every year, and when my part would come on, she'd be like, "Oh my god, this is my favorite part." But it isn't now. Because I
Always,
got the ring.
always gotta have humor in these shows.
Oh yeah.
Um, so a question I usually ask when I do another kind of interview for a different segment, any horror stories you like to share or like funny, embarrassing moments you'd like to share?
Recently?
Oh no, well no, all like during your if you can remember anything back in the day from your ads and commercials, any embarrassing funny moments, horror stories you'd like to share?
Yeah. Okay, so I was doing an ad for a company and it was multiple sets, multiple dressings, multiple pictures, and I was acting up. I was being a brat. I didn't want to be there. So at lunch, my mom found their local Toys R Us,
Uh-oh.
took me there. She goes, pick out whatever you want. And I picked out a bunch of stuff. I'm all excited. She gets in the card. She goes, when we go back there, if you don't behave, this all goes to your sister. And I was like, and I came back a different person. And one of like the directors of photography was like, what did you do? She's like, I just told her all the toys she just picked out are going to her sister if she don't behave.
Imagine the DP was in shock hearing that.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh,
I
jeez.
remember being fussy on set too. I didn't want to be there.
Did your mom ever try to get your sister into any of this
Yeah,
acting?
yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
figures.
work out. And my sister and I look nothing alike. Like you would never know we were sisters. So she She got one commercial once. And then she was way too fussy
Oh, I mean,
to go.
especially if you're younger too, you're gonna, you're not no, you don't know what's going on. Of course, you're gonna act out.
Yeah, and we would be in the waiting room like for auditions, and I would see kids acting out, and my mom had me trained. I
Because
would,
you've done so many of these
yeah,
auditions, like
I would just be
you
like,
knew how to behave.
and I would be looking at that person or that kid acting up. Well, my sister turned out to be that kid. So my mom's like, well, can't do it here.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of how you've seen like you're familiar. I mean, you have firsthand experience of what it's like auditioning with other kids for all these roles and everything.
Yeah, because sometimes we would all be in the same room auditioning at once. And one time, a director asked a little girl, "Do you want to be here?" And she was like, "No, my dad made me." And I was just mortified. I would never say that.
You would think it, but you wouldn't say it because your mom was
Oh,
there.
heck no. Heck no.
I mean, hey, at
She
least she
had
was
me
honest.
trained.
At least, and I'm glad that you can come on here and be honest. And that's nothing here for anyone watching. Nothing is scripted. All the stuff that Jordan is saying is true, and I've seen. I mean, I've never done any of this childhood acting or modeling, but I've heard and seen stories. Like it's a good thing that you're coming on here. You're being honest.
Yeah. It's the first time.
Hey, and there's
I
another.
just figure I just figure I'll just let loose and give the full story
Hey,
because I
that's
never I don't do that ever.
hey, it's better to be honest than like, oh yeah, it was fun, this and that, got to do all this fun stuff, went to Toys R Us,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. No, that I know it's a good thing because I think people really need to know that childhood acting it can be a nightmare. You have
Yeah.
firsthand experience of what it's like.
Yep.
That's
Oh, I did think of another cool memory. I got to go on Michael Jackson's carousel because he had like actual roller coaster rides on his property. So I remember doing that. And then I remember I had this big straw hat and it blew off me into his pond. And his security guard had to like fish it out.
well, that's a security guard.
Yeah. So I have memories, but again, I didn't know who he was.
I mean, you didn't find out all about all these actors until or celebrities until you were much older. I'm sure.
Yeah, and then some of them I didn't even know until I saw them in a movie, like recently. I was like, I remember him.
Nice.
Oh wow, no way.
Now that you're much older and everything, have you like done anything recently aside from the con, or just like you've just been living your normal life?
Just living my normal life. Pharmacy technician.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a lot of childhood actors who just do normal things nowadays because
Yeah,
it either wasn't for them or it's just, they were being forced.
yeah.
Um,
And I was forced. But I made it through it. Now I can appreciate it. I can talk to fans about it, be okay. But I just even online I don't say the truth because I don't want to bum people out.
I mean, you're not
Because they're
bumming.
so excited
Oh yeah,
about
no.
Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah, no. And besides, I think again, as mentioned, it's good to tell both sides of like the good and the bad. And I don't think you're ruining anyone's like fun or magic or whatever. Like I think it's good to know that, the stuff you went through. Like, yeah, it sounds like you had a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it was fun and all, but yeah. And as you said, I think it should be up to the kid, not the parent.
Absolutely. But a lot of times it's not.
Oh no, I mean especially back then, um, it was always up to the parent. Like you tell me how that one girl which said no, she didn't want to be here. It's like, I mean, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, you're not having
But I
fun.
couldn't believe I was hearing that.
I think
Because
that's
I
like,
couldn't say that.
was that the first time you've actually That you ever seen that, or were there other times where kids were not fun of being there?
It was like the one and only time.
It's crazy. Well, I think we should be wrap this up. Any last minute thing you want to add in for those who are watching this?
Sorry, I sound like a guy today. I have been so stuffed up, but it just happens. I will be going to uh the fairgrounds on Friday. My friend owns a drive-in movie theater that he does there, and they're playing Hocus Pocus.
Nice. Well,
And
this video will
he
be up this video will be up Friday, by the way, at
okay.
5 p.m. So I'll be sharing for anyone for anyone watching this, if you're in the area at the time, be sure to check it out.
Yeah, I'll be there signing pictures, um, meeting people. But
Nice.
again, I'm normal. I don't, this didn't go to my head, you know.
And also for anyone watching this, people who do who just in it, and especially people who still act nowadays, especially the big name ones, they're just like everybody else. You don't need to, glorify them or like put them on a pedestal. They're just like everybody else. They may make more money, but they're just like everybody else.
Exactly.
Well, again, Jordan, thank you for coming on to let people know what it was like, being an actor and everything back in the 90s and everything. Also be sure to if you didn't get the chance to if you, if you don't get the chance to be with your permission, would they be allowed to follow you on Instagram and everything?
Oh, everybody can, yeah. I
Okay.
still, my Instagram, uh, like handle is Jordan underscore Redmond, but it will come up Jordan Chandler because I did get married.
Okay. So if you're not able to make it to the Hocus Pocus at the drive-in, be sure to give Jordan a follow on Instagram. Link in the description below. So I
In the box down below.
in
I like getting to say that.
the box down
But
below.
thank you for letting me be honest and tell my truth.
Hey, that's all. That's how it always is. Let people know about these people, give them the recognition, and just let them know, the truth. That's all. No lies, nothing
Yeah,
scripted. So yeah, again, Jordan, thank you. And
you're very welcome.
for those who are watching this, until next time, I'm Wayne the Unknown. As always, thank you for listening, and until next time, thank you for watching.